Hey everybody, this is Pamela, your host of Call Time Atlanta. Welcome back to the show. Today I have Ken Feinberg, actor, director, writer, producer. He has pretty much done and seen it all in the Atlanta entertainment industry and beyond, and we're going to talk about a lot of that today. I brought Ken on because he has accomplished so much, and I really want him to share his story of what he has done both in Atlanta and elsewhere today. So welcome, Ken.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. And I'm just going to read some of your bio here.
Okay.
And bear with me because he has done so much work in the industry that, and I want to do his bio justice, so this is just a little piece of it. You've been an actor, director, and producer. You are founder and CEO of Creative Studios of Atlanta, which is an acting school, but you also have CSA Film Academy for young people, where you mentor young people in the film industry. You also have adult classes here.
Correct.
You have won the Outstanding Achievement Award for your contributions to the Georgia film industry at the Georgia Entertainment Gala, which is a big yearly gala. Every year, it's a big to-do in Atlanta to celebrate the film industry here, and I know they give awards to really high achievers in the industry.
It was a great honor to be recognized.
You've also won numerous awards from over 100 film and theater productions, so we're going to talk about that. 4 of your films have premiered at Cannes Film Festival. That's a great achievement.
These are projects that I produced and or directed.
Okay, yeah. You were voted one of Atlanta's 50 Most Beautiful People by Jezebel magazine. I love that one. And your own acting career, has spanned television, film, and theater. You've been in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You have been in Charmed. You've been in Alias, Star Trek Enterprise, which I love that show, so love your appearance in that one. Your film appearances include No Turning Back, Pray Another Day, Space Warriors, and you have also appeared in many large theater productions in Atlanta and LA, including the Stella Adler Theater and the Long Beach Playhouse.
That's correct.
And that is such a mouthful, and that actually doesn't even cover a lot of your career. That's just kind of what I condensed.
Snippets.
Yeah, snippets from your career. So let's start actually by talking about your journey from Atlanta to LA and other markets, New York. You grew up in Atlanta.
I was born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia, and my dream was always to be an actor. And I was a searcher, a seeker, and I was always trying to take classes and learn from people. No one seemed to have the answers to the questions that I was seeking. How do I work in film and television? How do I get those jobs? And what do I need to know to do that? And I was always active in theaters as a kid growing up in school and high school and in college. I was always taking acting classes and doing theater performances. And even after college, I was doing theater here in town. And
you went to UGA, correct?
I went to UGA,
yeah. Okay.
Graduated with a degree in film, and studied in Italy, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. That's really interesting, yeah.
And so my journey took me to New York first, and I studied and trained in New York. And then I went to LA. I was in LA for a long time. I was in 3 different repertory theater companies. I started directing when I was in LA. Then I came back to Atlanta after the Northridge quake. And I directed a lot of theater here in town. I was artistic director of a theater company in town. I directed Atlanta premieres of major Broadway shows like Death and the Maiden and Talk Radio. And then in 1999, I directed a short film and said, I want to go back to LA. I went back to LA for a number of years, and that's when I acted in Buffy and Star Trek and Charmed. It was one of the 50 Most Beautiful, like we talked about, and all those things. And after maybe 5 years of working in LA, I was a working actor. I was making my living as an actor. I'd learned how to market myself because I always thought I had the heart of Puck, but no one's going to cast me in the role of Puck. And I realized that I'm this big man with a shaved head that if people don't know me, they're typically scared of me.
Not scary at all, no.
And so the kinds of roles that I was getting were cops and bikers and demons and convicts and alien captains, which is great. But, growing up in theater and playing everything across the board in theater, from Lenny of Mice and Men, The Creature, and Frankenstein, leading roles, romantic roles, character roles. That was pure joy when I'm acting in a role that's just wonderful. In fact, a lot of levels and a lot of creativity. But to be relegated to the bone jacker, the bruiser, the bouncer, I mean, that's fine. I can make a living doing that. But somewhere along the way, it wasn't what lived in my heart. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I came back to Atlanta. It was about 11 years ago now. And I opened Creative Studios of Atlanta. I started training actors because I'd gotten a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I was thinking. I was doing it. I was living it. I still get residual checks today. I probably got 3 residual checks in my wallet right now, which is great.
Nice.
Residuals are the lifeblood of actors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I started teaching people how to do this job. And a lot of my students have gone on to book all kinds of things.
And you mentioned, before we started rolling, you mentioned what some of your students have been doing. So can you tell?
Absolutely. We have one of our graduates, her name is Storm Reed. She was in the movie 12 Years a Slave, which you've heard of.
Yes.
And she just is starring in a new movie by Disney called A Wrinkle in Time. She's the starring role. She's acting with Oprah and Reese Witherspoon. And then another one of my students just booked this movie. She's filming in Atlanta. It was out of LA, but she booked it out of LA. She's shooting in Atlanta. And it's called Family. And she's the starring role with Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black. She's playing her niece in the movie. They're the 2 leads of the movie, which is fabulous. Another student just booked a role. He lives in Atlanta, but he booked it in LA. He's in LA filming right now.
Great.
It's the Corey Haim movie, and he's playing Corey Feldman. And so I've got students on series. I've got students doing local things. But the students, they come in, they learn not just acting, but they learn the business.
Right.
And how to approach the business, and we teach a lot of how to support each other, how you can be supportive of others, how you can support others, because it is a business that will chew you up and spit you out if you don't have people to support you.
Yeah.
And it is more than anything a business. It's not a hobby. It's a business, and you have to understand how the business works and how you fit into the business, because ultimately you want to work.
Right.
You have to market yourself.
Right.
You have to be professional when you meet people in a business setting, in a social setting, on the set. You, at the end of the day, you want to be known as that actor who's professional, prepared, and people say, I got to work with that actor again.
Yeah. They come to trust you and trust your work. So actually, let's talk about the marketing for a minute. How does an actor market himself or herself effectively?
Well, that's a really great question you asked there. I will attempt to. Let me say this. When it comes to the business of acting, you are marketing something, okay? It's a combination of your look and your personality, and that's called branding, okay? And you have a specific look. I have a specific look, and my personality and my look, I had to find congruency because, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why I know so much about it, because I had to learn so much about it, because my personality was not really a match with my look. And so I thought I was this kind of a person, but other people saw this kind of person, so finally I had to figure out where to meet in the middle that's going to make it work. Your number one marketing tool is your headshot. Your headshot is everything. Your headshot is what gets you the audition. Because, and you can't just have a generic, hi, how are you headshot? I mean, that's how a lot of people are.
I've got to work on that.
Okay. But see, when it comes down to branding, I tell people in my class, you have to be known for something. Okay. You're not just the mom. You're the mean mom. You're the loving mom. You're the nice mom. You're the neglectful mom. You're the mom who's, stealing other people's husbands, whatever it is. Because that's a very specific thing. And when you go get your pictures taken and you say, I need my mean wife look, and I need my loving mother look, I need my no nonsense teacher look, or whatever it is.
My druggy look, and my
if you're a druggie, are you the druggie mom, or are you the whatever it is.
Yep.
Or if you're a doctor, you're professional, whatever it is you're selling, you want to have a photograph that reflects that. Because I was casting for a while. For a number of years, I was a casting director. Even in LA, I was a camera operator in casting to help pay the bills. And so I saw this firsthand, where when submissions come in, casting directors first look through, who do we know? So these days, everything's electronic. So you got to 2-inch
Yep.
by 2-inch thumbnail.
Yeah.
And so casting directors quickly scan through and say, who do I know that can do this role? And they'll put them in a little pile. And then they'll go back and say, who looks like they could be that role? And if you have just a generic, everyday, ordinary, run-of-the-mill headshot, and I need a specific kind of character, I'm going to pass right over you. There's no reflection that you're a good actor or not a good actor,
Right.
but it's sales, it's business. That person right there looks like she could be the cheating wife. Okay, let's put her over here. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
And so what happens is then you get an audition opportunity. And then if, say, I don't know why I come up with the cheating wife, but just say you are the cheating wife character, and I call you in to play the cheating wife, and you can play that really well. You've got an opportunity there to move forward.
Right.
And you can get shown to the producer and director. But
Right.
if your picture looks like a cheating wife and you're the sweet wife and you
Right.
come in and you can't pull that off,
Yeah.
you're going to get a reputation of an actor who's good but not quite right. Really, the point of branding and marketing is to get you in the right audition rooms. Because if you're not getting in the right audition rooms, you're getting in the wrong audition rooms, you're going to get a reputation of a good actor who can't book anything. So it's important to know what you're selling, because what I'm after is if I walk into a room and I don't do anything but just stand here and say the lines, I'm really believable. Okay? And in film acting, we're really not going to be asked to do something far away from what we're doing unless we're a star. Okay? So especially around Atlanta, in the day player roles, either you're going to come in, you're going to be the cop, you're going to be the nurse, you're going to be the attorney, whatever it is, you're either it or you're not. And you're not going to be doing something, like on stage, you're not going to be playing this really outlandish character. You're not going to be doing Oscar Wilde or anything. You can come, unless, if that's your thing to do outrageous characters, and then you have the reputation of doing outrageous characters. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so the way people become stars is they get known for something, and they go, oh, this actor, you think of yourself. If you're casting a movie and you need a zany main character guy, who are you going to think of?
Ken Feinberg.
Thank you. But you think of, say, Jim Carrey or Robin Williams, somebody who's like that. You don't think Denzel.
Right.
You don't think Morgan Freeman.
Exactly.
You don't think George Clooney.
Right.
Okay? So everyone has their own little niche.
Yeah.
And so as an actor, if you can discover what your niche is, then you can exploit it. Because once you're known for something, then you can branch out and be more creative.
Yeah.
Renee Zellweger, love Renee Zellweger. I talk about her in class sometimes because when she did Jerry Maguire, she had a reputation of being the sweet girlfriend, just like Glenn Close was for a long time. Okay, I'll get to her in a second. But she could have been girlfriend or wife to every major male star in Hollywood for the next 25 years, and no one would have batted an eye. But she wanted to do something else. And by that point, she was a star. She knew something. So she did this movie that was at Sundance where she was completely out of character. She plays a Hasidic Jewish woman who has an affair and has this whole little life. And it's like, wow. Okay, that movie's called A Price Above Rubies. I saw it at Sundance. It's like, she just blew me away with her acting talent. And then she started doing projects that she wanted to do. And of course, she won an Oscar. She was nominated for one Oscar and then won another Oscar for Cold Mountain. And so now she's like taking some time off, I guess. Glenn Close, same thing. No one would cast her other than the sweet girlfriend. And she fought tooth and nail to get the role in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
They didn't want her. Oh, you're too nice for Fatal Attraction. She's like, I want that role.
Yeah.
And she fought for it because she knew she could do it, but it wasn't her marketing.
Right.
When she did it, it changed everything for her. Opened up a whole new career for her.
Interesting.
But, you want to be known for something, because producers, casting directors, when they're casting something, they don't think, oh, who's a generic actor that could play this role? They think, I need a big bruiser guy to come in and deliver these Shakespearean lines. Well, Feinberg, he's got Shakespeare experience and he's big in bruising. We'll call him.
Right.
Okay, so you want to be known for something, and so when you get your marketing figured out, then you can start and you get on with your agent and your manager and other people on your team, your publicist, whoever else is on your team, and you start promoting that. This is what you're selling, because at the end of the day, it really is about sales.
Yeah.
If you don't make a sale, you don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just business terms.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And you teach all this here, right?
That's what we teach. That's one of the things we teach.
I've got to take some of these classes because I'm not doing it right.
Well, business is so important to people.
Yeah.
People think it's about, and I'll tell you this, the acting method that I teach, I call it the buffet. I put everything out, let you try it. I don't say, this is Stanislavski, this is Meisner, this is William H. Macy. It doesn't matter what the label is. What matters is that you can pick up a technique or pick up a piece of something and use it for your own creativity. Because acting is very personal, it's very creative, and you have to make those choices. When I was studying acting, I mean, there's a million acting theories and techniques and styles.
That's true.
And you could get caught up in acting theory for lifetimes, just studying this theory, that theory, Chubbuck, Uta Hagen, whoever. Mm-hmm. But you have to find something that works for you. Because I know myself, I wanted to do this so badly that I was trying to do every single little thing my teachers were telling me to do. And I was thinking about it so much, I got lost in it. I was pre-planning everything, and I wasn't involved in this moment, and so on and so forth. And it was really bad. And I tell my students, you got to be willing to be a bad actor before you can be a good one. If you're willing to become a bad actor, then you can take and grow that and become a good actor.
Right.
A lot of people aren't even willing to try. And so a lot of actors will criticize themselves if they mess up. And I'll tell you this from experience. When you go into an audition and you mess up, you're the only one that knows. If you walk out of that room going, oh, I messed up that line, or I was going to do that in that moment, it's like you're beating yourself up over this audition. The truth is, I'm on the other side of the table. I'm not remembering your flub up. I'm remembering the moment where you were brilliant. Okay, remember when Pamela came in that had that moment that nobody else got? That was brilliant. Okay?
I did great.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So a lot of it is how you train your mind.
Yeah.
Okay? You could say it's a team sport. You could say it's a martial art. But you have to study. You have to be disciplined. You have to do the work. Now, when you go in for an audition, we expect you to be good. We expect you to be professional. Okay? If you're not, you're going to get put on that pile that says, please do not come back to my office. Okay? And so a lot of Atlanta actors that don't train get pushed in that pile because they don't know right from wrong. I mean, you could be like me and have 10 years of studying and failures, or you can find yourself a teacher and a mentor and a master to help get you to where you want to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But when a lot of my students, they go, well, I haven't had any audition opportunities. Well, don't stress. Your auditions are going to come. Be ready for them.
Right.
And I talked to them like this. One day I came in and said, there's an audition waiting for you in the future. It's coming at you right now. What are you going to do to get prepared for that audition now? What can you do to prepare yourself now for the audition that's coming in the future? And so you have to kind of think like that so you're prepared at any moment. Because sometimes they call you and say, can you be here at 3 o'clock today?
Right. Yeah.
Or can you be ready by tomorrow? Can you put something on tape and have it to me in the morning? You got to be ready. And if you're not practicing these things, like if you play a sport, like say you play baseball or basketball and you haven't been on the court or the field, and they say go play a game, and you're rusty.
You're not going to be able to do it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. I was just saying this to a friend of mine. Acting is a muscle just like anything else, and you have to exercise the muscle or lose it.
And create the muscle memory by doing it.
So I want to talk about your travel right now, because when I was reading your bio, you mentioned that you've traveled all over the world, basically. You've been to Italy, you've studied art history and photography in Italy. You have studied migratory whale patterns in Mexico, and I'm just fascinated by this because these are the kinds of adventure trips that, I would have gone on a few years ago before I got into the acting industry and stuck around Atlanta, but you don't think of these as being necessarily connected to an entertainment industry career other than just being a vacation. So you've used these trips to further your education in entertainment and in film. So talk about that.
Well, when I went to Mexico to study migrating gray whales, it was an exercise in patience and be ready for anything, and photography and lighting, and being out in the middle of nowhere on a little bitty island off the coast of Mexico, surrounded by migrating gray whales. It's different. You're on location. And it really is a practice in patience and study of a subject and watching something, okay, and just being prepared for anything. When I went to school in Italy, I went to school as part of my college education and studied art history and photography, and we really had to study light. How does light hit a certain object? And in photography especially, we're studying Rembrandt and how he painted with light and how you can paint with light with the image. And so that was really fascinating. And of course, art history in Italy, especially Renaissance paintings, and every picture tells a story. So every painting you see in Italy, in a Renaissance painting, there's a whole story. Everything has symbols and meanings behind it. And so just studying all that, it helps. Like when you read a book, you get an image in your mind of the movie. When you see a painting, especially a Renaissance painting, it's like you get a story in your head. So when you're making a movie, you want to paint images that will give people the story. And so that is very fascinating. And in a little town in Italy, it's called Cortona. And I went there as part of the University of Georgia Studies Abroad program, and I've been back several times. It's a wonderful, magical place. And I've actually taken students back to Cortona the past 2 summers. We've written original scripts and produced original films, and we screened them in Italy. And so some of the acting students have gone to Italy and have acted in an original movie made in Italy and got directed by an award-winning Italian director who's a personal friend of mine.
Nice. What an opportunity. That's fantastic.
And we're going to do another program to Italy in summer 2018.
Great. So the next one, not this summer, but...
Not this summer.
Okay.
Next summer.
Wow. I just find that fascinating because I come from a background where I have dance experience and other performing experience outside of acting. And I know how those fit into acting because they're more closely related. You know, dancing, you're doing a dance routine in front of an audience, you're telling a story through the dance, but I haven't thought of things like studying whale migration. But it totally fits what you said. Really, it teaches you a lesson that you can use when
Absolutely.
You're filmmaking. So it's amazing. And who knows, you might make a film about migrating great whales. Maybe you could do a documentary.
You never know.
Yeah.
It was really a fascinating time of my life, and it was a wonderful experience. You know, Pam, this light is getting a little hot on the back of my head. You mind if I pull this
Not
closer?
at all. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Does that feel any cooler for you?
Yeah, I can. It's like putting a scrim in.
I can get a little umbrella for you if you'd like.
Oh, that'd be great. In case it rains, right?
In case it rains.
In case a gray whale pops up right here and spouts.
Well, then I'll get a towel for you because
Okay.
you're going to be all wet. So you've traveled all over the world. You've used the lessons that you've learned in these experiences through these trips in your work in the film industry. Let's talk about coming back to Atlanta now. What brought you back here? Did you come back to found the school, or was it for just working here in other ways? Or
Well, that's a great question, and one that I've thought about a lot. And one of my mentors told me that I should tell people I was a visionary, that I could see the future was the movie industry was moving to Atlanta. I'm like, maybe on some level I was a visionary, but Atlanta's home for me. And at some point I came back home because really I was searching for my heart. Like, what is going to bring me joy? Because, playing killers in movies and television is great for a little while, but it wasn't getting me anywhere. And there's stories that go along with that. But when I came home, I founded the studio. It was right next door to a good friend of mine who's an energy healer chiropractor down on Atlantic Station. And I started just teaching people what I had learned. And then, of course, when the tax incentives kicked in, then it really started to pick up, and a lot of the students that had trained with me had gone on to do stuff. As a matter of fact, one of my students, Alpha Trevette, train with me.
Alpha.
And he's coming back to class this week.
Great.
So it'd be great to welcome Alpha back. As you know, he's been on a series regular on the Tyler Perry Show. And he's been in other stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to be reunited with Alpha.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful when I see actors and they say, I have been doing what you taught me, or like, I want to come back in your class to get sharp again. You have to stay sharp. You have to be in class. What really blows my mind, you go to LA, everybody's in class.
Yeah.
Everybody's studying. Everybody's studying here. It's like, maybe I'll go to class. Maybe I'll study. And you really have to find a good teacher that's right for you. I'm a big believer in the student finds the teacher. And so in my class, you can come, sit in for free, see if you like me, see if you like the way I teach. And you should be able to do that for every teacher in Atlanta. See who you like, who you can learn from.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you've got to get better. When you got to go on the battlefield, it's just you. 8 years ago, I started the CSA Film Academy for young actors because I was doing casting at the time. And one of my peers said to me, "You ever thought about training kids?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, I think you'd be really good with kids. You should try working with kids." And I said, "Okay, look, if I'm going to train kids, I don't want to babysit, and I don't want to play games. I want to work with kids and their parents who are serious about working in film and television, who want to learn the business of it, want to learn how to be prepared, how to execute the work."
Yeah.
And one of the plumes in my cap was when one of the moms said to me, she said, "Ken, when we moved to LA and my daughter booked so many jobs, like so fast, her manager asked me to teach a workshop on how to audition because she'd never seen anybody come to LA and book so many jobs." And that made me feel really good.
Yeah.
Because that's what I taught her to do.
Yeah.
And when you know what to do and then you get an opportunity to do it, you should be able to do it. I had an adult student came in, she goes, "Ken, I haven't been getting callbacks, haven't been booking." I said, "Let's see what you're doing. Here's the mistakes you're making. Sometimes they're technical, sometimes they're emotional, sometimes they're preparational." And I said, "You got to do the work. This is the work. This is how you do it. This is where you're making mistakes. Fix it up." She hasn't come back to class yet because she's working.
Great.
She got a text me yesterday. "I'm working on the I, Tonya movie. I'm playing this role." Okay, great. So she's like, "I'm getting a lot more callbacks. I'm getting casting directors call me back in repeatedly."
Great.
I said, "That's what
sign.
you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want because now you're in the zone.
Right.
You're going to book something."
So given the entirety of your work, you've worked quite a bit with youth. Obviously, they are doing well under your tutelage.
Good work.
And you've worked with adults as well. All the experience you've had directing, acting, producing, what do you see as the legacy that you want to leave behind in the local entertainment industry, but also just in the industry in general? What do you see as your legacy? Is it more with the youth or is it something else?
That's an excellent question. I know that with youth, okay, if you can reach a young person, you can change the future. Because I have seen people change. I've had students come in here where they've confided with the group because we create a room of trust and safety. And I've seen students come in and confide that they had attempted suicide, or that they had been bullied, or they even were bullies, and they can see their behavior and they can change their behavior, which is fabulous. And the future is with these young people. And I hate to say this, but they say in their worlds where they go to school, it's not always safe. It's not always friendly. It's not always caring.
Yeah.
But I have kids that they look forward to coming to class every week because they know they're going to be in an environment that's supportive, and they're going to be in an environment where people like-minded to them. Yeah. And so that's a beautiful thing. And some of these friendships last a long time.
So you're forging these connections between these kids or young adults, and it sounds like just from the trust you've created here, we are shooting actually at Creative Studios of Atlanta. I did not mention that in the beginning, but here we are.
Live, on location, live on tape.
This is
the back lot.
The back lot here behind us. That was burning Ken's head. So yeah, we are
It's
here.
the 4K right up there.
Yeah.
That's a 20K.
Oh, okay.
Called the Sun.
And And so the trust you've created here has really altered for the better, I think, these kids' lives, it sounds like.
Yeah, because you want to open yourself up. I talk about in the class, you want to have a filter. And you know, when you're out in the world, you want to make sure you say things that are appropriate.
Right.
But when you're acting, you got to take the filter out and be who you are. You know, it's our job as actors to say things that are unfiltered. And so a lot of actors do. But I'm talking about on set. When you're on set, you want to be completely open to have the impulses to act and do and be and all this stuff. And so when you allow yourself to do that, there's just a closeness that's automatically created. Just like if you're doing a play with someone, you create that bond, create that trust, you create that family. And so a lot of these kids end up becoming lifelong friends.
Yeah. So what has working in this industry meant to you on a personal level? We talked about your legacy a little bit, but what has it changed in your life?
You know, when I get the phone call that says, we wanted you to know first, I just get a really warm feeling. I want to tell you, I booked this, okay? That is just heartwarming to me. That is satisfying to me. It is much more satisfying to me as a person to get a phone call saying, I got a call back, or I booked this, or something like that, as opposed to saying, I just booked a job to play a skinhead where I got to beat somebody up. That's a job. Yeah. It's not really a fun job. It's not like I'm going to go on set and be romantically involved with Alyssa Milano, which is another story. I went to audition for Charmed, and I went to audition for Demon Guard, and had another role there for Sexy Demon, had a kissing scene with Alyssa Milano.
Very nice.
And I said to the caster, can I audition for that? I think I could bring something really interesting to it. And they go, no, you're the Demon Guard. Okay, I'm the Demon Guard.
I'm sorry.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, it does. It is. It sounds like you have found deep meaning in this industry by nurturing others, basically.
When a student is in class or they're on set and you see the light bulb go off, oh, I get it. Okay? I think you had a light bulb moment earlier about marketing. Like something went off.
Yeah.
Okay? So when a student like connects to that and they go, oh, okay, I got that. Now I can go apply that. That's satisfying. They got something from my class. Now I'm not saying I'm their ultimate end-all teacher, but I'm saying I'm giving them something. Usually it's around the business side to help them get to where they want to go.
Right.
Because, you know, when it comes to acting, I don't say, all right, on this line do this. On this line do that.
Yeah.
I say, this is what's called a choice. You can either, what's stronger for you, this, or you come up with something on your own, because you've got to learn how to do that muscle, do that work of saying, okay, in this scene, this person's my worst enemy, and this person I have a secret crush on. Now I'll do the scene. Okay, that's just a choice. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but you want to learn how to make strong choices, and then someone will redirect you if they want you to. If you have not seen Ian McKellen's video on how he's such a good actor, you got to watch that.
Oh, I have not seen that.
It's on the Ricky Gervais show. I'll show it to you after the interview.
Okay.
It's really funny and like nails it head on. He goes, why do I act so well? And he sort of goes on to explain it, and it's hilarious. Ian McKellen is hilarious.
I'll put a link to that below in the description too. Once I post the show, I'll put a link to that.
All right.
But yeah, definitely show it to me when we're done. I'd like to see that. Let's wrap up by talking about your current work. What are you working on now? I know that you have just finished Santa's Boot Camp, which came out for the holidays, obviously. And that is distributed by Sony Pictures.
Correct.
And it was named one of the top 10 holiday films in the UK, which is fantastic. So talk about that and talk about some of your other current work and how people can find you.
Okay. Santa's Boot Camp came about because as part of the training in the CSA Film Academy, I produce original films for the actors to get experience on set. It's sort of an experiential classroom. They get me to direct, but we have professional crew, camera people, lighting people, the wardrobe. They come to set, they go through wardrobe, go through makeup, they get on set, we go through blocking, go through rehearsal, and then action. They've got to do their job. And so it's an experiential classroom where they make a movie, and they get credit for being in the movie, and they get the experience of being in the movie. And I think that helps people a lot in the future when they get on a set. They say, okay, I know what I know what I need to do. I know I need to be prepared for this and that. So it's really nice. So after the first years of Film Academy, we made like 2 40-minute films that everybody starred in one film, and that was a difficult exercise to do that. So the year we started Santa's Boot Camp, my editor, a good friend of mine, Craig Tallis, who's an outstanding editor, and he's produced the movie with me, he said, with all the shorts and all the commercials, everything we did this year, we could have made a feature because we did all that work. So well, let's go in this year and make a feature with Santa's Boot Camp. So we wrote a feature film for the students, the young actors in Santa's Boot Camp. And we did the exercise of getting an on-set experience. At the same time, we were going to intentionally make a feature film. Mm-hmm. We had no idea what the end result was going to be. However, we decided we're going to make this fun, family-friendly movie with all these kids. We got Eric Roberts to come in and play the mall Santa. He was hilarious, and a lot of the students got to sit on his knee and have interact with Eric Roberts. And the film just became bigger and bigger and bigger. And it took us a number of years to actually make the film because it just got to be bigger than a small little class film.
Right. But you can tell in the quality of the film. And these kids are fantastic, and the acting is good. The production quality is obviously high. So it was worth the time that you took on that.
Yes, absolutely. It went in with the intention that we were going to make a feature film that people could see. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know what the response was going to be, but was something that was going to be appealing to people outside of our little film academy. And so when we finished the film, we had our premiere at the International Family Film Festival, and I was awarded with the Director's Gold Award. I was not expecting that.
Great.
And I got really emotional at that moment.
I bet.
And then we went on, we won Best Family Feature Film at the San Diego International Kids Film Festival. And then we got a 4-star rating from the Kids First Film Festival. And we also got a Dove Foundation Award as family-friendly content for all ages.
Oh, okay.
And then Sony came along and said, we love this movie, can we put it out there? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Sony, sure, why not?
Let me think about that.
Okay, where
Right.
So, I mean, that was satisfying because, it took us longer than I wanted to. And like some of the kids in the movie, they aged, they grew up. Yeah. And so in my heart, I wanted to have that to help their careers, and hopefully it will still help their careers.
Oh, sure.
But I think what happens is when they get an experience, and I hope that the kids still like the film. I think they do. And the film, I always say films are not made, they're forced into being. This film was definitely forced into being. We worked so hard to get it complete because we had to raise a little money to do this, a little money to do that. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get help from outside sources, from distributors. They didn't want to help. We finally got it done, and people seem to like it. We're getting ready to produce original short films for our Film Academy students at the end of March. Mm-hmm. So we're getting into production for that. I don't know how many films we're going to make this year, but last year we made 14 original short films. And so this year will probably be around the same. So the actors will get that experience. I'm also in the process of raising money to make a Santa's Boot Camp sequel.
Oh, okay. Is it a crowdfunding that you're doing? Or
I'm not doing crowdfunding. Okay. I'm going for real money.
Got it.
Going for real money. And I've got another project that a friend of mine wrote. There was an award-winning script from the Toronto Film Festival. It also was recognized by the New York Film Festival and a couple other film festivals, a screenplay. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to raise money for that one. That is an amazing story. I don't want to say too much about it because in our business, you don't talk about stuff until it's real.
Right.
Until actors don't talk about auditions.
Yeah.
You don't talk about anything until it's real.
Yeah.
And so it's just talk right now. Hopefully, when something really incredible happens, you come back and I can tell you all about the wonderfulness of this.
I'm sure you will have more. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Like this bio that I read, you're just constantly working and you are constantly putting out good work. And it's like breakneck speed. I don't know how you do it, but you're very prolific. Like I said in the beginning, that's just defines you, at least in my opinion.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I've had a unique experience of being on all sides of the camera, being an actor, being a casting director, and a casting assistant, being a producer, being a director. I've been on sets, I've been in casting rooms, I've been in classes in LA, and New York, and Atlanta, and I've been on stage and theater for a number of years. And the stuff that I teach in my class is not something that I learned in a book or in a class somewhere. It's really I'm just sharing my experiences and how things work.
Right.
And once you can learn how things work, you can apply it.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you actually make movies here so that these kids and adults, I'm assuming that they do the same in the adult classes here.
Yes.
You actually get the real experience of what it is like to be on camera and in a production. It's all theory until you get on set. Okay.
And the motto of our studio is, it takes teamwork to make a dream work.
Yeah. Well, this has been fascinating, Ken. I feel like we could talk for 3 more hours and we'd still have more to say after that. But thank you for coming on Call Time Atlanta.
I'm going to show you that video.
Yes, we will get the video and I'm going to link it. Tell people where they can find you, where they can see some of your work, and if they need to get in touch with you about classes or anything, just how they can contact you.
We have a website, creativestudiosofAtlanta.com. Shorthand, it's csatl.com, creativestudiosatl.com, csatl.com, or you can spell it all out, creativestudiosofAtlanta.com.
Plural, okay. And where can they find Santa's Boot Camp?
Santa's Boot Camp, there was some DVDs at Walmart. They might be all sold out by now, but you can go on Amazon.com and order them and watch it on Amazon right now. You can find it on all the other websites too. You can find it on Walmart, on Target, on Best Buy, all those places. But Amazon, for sure, you can go there and download it and watch it tonight. And if you have kids, it's a movie you can watch with your kids and your parents, your grandparents. The whole family can watch it together. And one of the things that I love about Santa's Boot Camp is it's not one of those movies where you just watch it and then when it's over, it's over.
Right.
It's one of those films when you watch it, you can actually have a discussion with your kids about it, because some of the themes in the movie are about bullying and being yourself and using your own voice and doing things for yourself. And the storyline, real quickly, of Santa's Boot Camp is that Santa's elves are so put out with all the entitled and misbehaving kids that they don't want to make toys for them anymore, and they go on strike just days before Christmas.
Okay.
And Santa is so desperate, he brings in 6 teenagers from the naughty list to help him get ready for Christmas that they don't want to help.
Hard labor.
They don't want to help, and they try to escape, and Santa sends them to go watch naughty nice videos where they watch videos of other kids doing behaviors, have to vote whether nice or nice, and they think that's all fun until they see videos of themselves. And they have to vote themselves naughty or nice. And they learn something about how they treat other people is important.
Yes.
And so a lot of the kids have discussions about how they treat other people. And my 6-year-old daughter said to me, she said, "I know what your movie's about, Dad." And I said, "What?" "It teaches kids to be nicer to each other." I said, "I'll take that."
Yeah, great.
I'll take that. We could use a little nicer in the world.
I agree. And on that note, thank you again, Ken Feinberg. I just feel like we definitely need to have you back and talk some more, but thank you for coming on. And go to Creative Studios of Atlanta and check out his classes, check